Welcome. In this post, I'll briefly discuss one of the most significant and abiding social support and life-liberating principles that is universally found within all the world's cultures and religions. It is deeply rooted in science and is also basic common sense. It is comprised of a set of sayings that I shared with my students for much of my teaching career, as I realized that if they were to be truly educated, they needed inspiration, encouragement, integrity, foresight, and an abiding sense of self-respect and social responsibility, as much as they needed the theoretical and academic content I would, of course, always provide, be it in the variety of management and leadership development courses I taught, or those in ethics, teacher education, and even in the wide-ranging and more creative seminars I would offer, or the independent studies I would oversee. I would often tell them that regardless of their major concentrations or career aspirations, there are certain principles that cut across and empower every field of endeavor, both personal and professional, and indeed are highly useful throughout one's entire life, and that they would be best served if they identified them, reflected on them, and put them into practice. One such set of instructives is found in the following sayings, which were entitled Paradoxical Commandments. And you may be familiar with some of these. These have been falsely attributed to Mother Teresa and others, and yet it is more reliably attributed to a guy named Kent Keith, who came up with them while he was a graduate student at Harvard University. But be that as it is, we all already understand that it is not so much about the author or any author. Much more importantly, it is about what is offered by the author. Okay, here it is, with just a little editorial adaptation to help it ring better and smooth it out. People are unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered, but we should love them anyway. When we do good, people will accuse us of selfish, ulterior motives, but we should do good anyway. If we are successful, we will likely win false friends and true enemies, but we should seek to succeed anyway. The good we do today may be forgotten tomorrow, but we should do good anyway. Honesty and frankness can make us vulnerable, but we should be honest and frank anyway. The biggest persons with the biggest ideas can be shot down by the smallest persons with the smallest minds, but we should think big anyway. People favor underdogs, but they follow only top dogs. But we must fight for the underdogs anyway. What we spend years building may be destroyed overnight, but we must build anyway. People really need help, but they may attack us when we help them. But we should seek ways to help them anyway. Give the world the best you've got, and people will take advantage of you. But all should give the world the best they've got anyway, because what goes around comes around anyway. As I've mentioned, some of you may have come across this before, but I'm willing to wager that most have not stopped to suss out the essential value or seek to put it into practice. But in principle and on principle, we all intuitively realize that it is among the best marching orders for the entire life. and that it is also expressed in various ways, such as through Isaac Newton's third law of motion. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Or through the biblical verse, you will reap what you sow. Or as the law of karma, which is also known as the law of cause and consequence. It is even expressed in the more common vernacular of what goes around comes around, and is also demonstrated by the boomerang and the rotational movements of the countless bodies throughout the cosmos. Each person, by their own thoughts, their own desires, and their own actions, becomes the molder of their own destiny and should work to stay on track and on target and not be deterred or dissuaded by the ignorance, arrogance, or untoward behaviors of others. Check this out. Sow a thought and reap a desire. Sow a desire and reap an action. Sow an action and reap a habit. Sow a habit and reap a character. Sow a character and reap a destiny. Yes, it's all about what we decide we will plant. These days especially, and it really goes without saying, but you know I must. The world needs people who understand the guiding principles of a life worth living and who are willing to step up with faith and confidence in basic goodness and carry on with elevated personal and social intentions and actions. You know, I really had some other things I wanted to do, like sit still and listen to the all-pervading, omnipresent sound, or take a nap. But I decided that I would persevere and finish this post anyway. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.